Pay close attention to this video. A couple was walking with their daughter when a woman arrives and tells the officer next to her that this was her daughter, but the man said he didn't know what she was talking about and the little girl says that wasn't her mother. The officer asks if the woman was lying to him, but at that moment, another little girl appears and hugs the woman. Everyone is surprised to realize that the two kittens were identical. The man's wife asks what was going on there, so the man asks who those people were. The woman says that she didn't know what was going on either, as when her daughter gave birth to two children, they only gave one of the children to her, as her daughter ended up dying in childbirth. The woman says she knew those two children were sisters and that the man's daughter also had a birthmark on her neck. When they realized that this was true, the wife says that this was her daughter and no one would take her away. The woman then said that she would go to the hospital to find out what had happened that day, but the man says that this was his daughter and that no one would take her away. The woman says that they wanted to have her granddaughter back, but the wife says that this was their daughter and that she would not take her away from them. As they leave, the woman asks the officer if he would do anything since he was standing there. He then said that unfortunately he couldn't do anything since that wasn't the woman's granddaughter, but the woman says that was her granddaughter. He then tells her that he couldn't do anything and that all he could do to help the woman was give her a ride since she was going to the hospital. She said she would go to the hospital to see what had happened. She didn't want to lose her granddaughter again. Meanwhile, the wife was telling the man that they should see what was going on, but the man said that he didn't want to know what was going on and that they should leave. The wife says that she wanted to know what was going on, as the girls were identical, but the man says that the woman was crazy and that they shouldn't pay attention to it. The wife then said that they were identical and that the man should be more concerned about it because she wanted to know what was going on there. The man said that his wife shouldn't worry about it, because when they saw his wife's pregnancy ultrasound, there was only one child and there couldn't be two. The wife then says that she would go to the hospital to find out what had happened, even if her husband did not go with her. He then tells her not to go to the hospital as she would ruin everything, but she said she needed to know because she was his daughter. He tells her not to worry about it and hugs her. So, we're going to come in from here a long time ago. A nurse was worried about what she was going to do as two women had given birth in that hospital, but one of them ended up losing her child and the other woman ended up losing her life. She said, that situation is very sad as one of the women ended up losing her life and leaving two children. She said all she wanted to do was make everyone happy and has the idea of handing one of the children over to the other mother. She then says that everyone would be happy that way, but soon she begins to question whether this was really the right thing to do, since if she was doing something wrong, she could end her medical career. She said she just wanted to make the mothers happy with what was happening and that now, that secret would be hers for the rest of her life. She then goes to the mother, who had lost the baby, hands over one of the children. She says she needed to go and that she would leave the woman with her son. As she was leaving, she meets the man who asks her what she was doing there. She said she could explain what was going on, but the man knew that his wife's son had died and that it wasn't her child. The nurse then says that she knew that and that all she was trying to do was make the woman very happy, because when the other woman had had two children, she ended up losing her life. Listening here, the man is surprised to hear that the nurse wanted to give his wife another child's child. She says that all she wanted was to make the woman happy, as she now had a child to take care of. She then says that the grandmother of the two children would not be able to take care of the two children and that way, everyone could be happy. The man then asks the nurse what she wanted with all this, but she says that all she wanted was for them to be happy. The man then agrees and says that he could do it to make his wife happy, but he asks the nurse not to say anything to anyone he knew. She said she would do it, but that he couldn't say anything to anyone, because if he did, it could ruin her career. She said that all she wanted was for everyone to be happy, and then the man agrees, saying that they should agree that this conversation had never happened. The wife had heard the whole explanation the nurse had given her about what had happened that day. The nurse then says that unfortunately, the wife had lost her son and that she could take a DNA test if she wanted to. The wife says it wasn't necessary, and then the nurse says she was just trying to make everyone happy. The wife then gets furious about it and says that she shouldn't have done that, because for all those years she had raised the child, and now the nurse was saying that this was not her daughter. The nurse then tells the wife that she should stay calm and that unfortunately, the child belonged to her grandmother and that she should go with her grandmother. She says she understands the reasons for the wife to be sad, because she ended up raising that child for all that time, but the child was supposed to go with the grandmother. She says that everything must be sorted out or she would end up in jail, but the wife says that she didn't care about that and that she just wanted to be with her daughter. The woman tells her wife that she wants to be with her granddaughter. At this point, the man arrives in the room and the wife tells him that she didn't want to talk to him because he had done something very bad to her. He then apologizes to her, saying that unfortunately, all he wanted to do was make everyone happy, but that, by coincidence, the woman's daughter had died and so had his daughter. The woman then says that it wasn't fair to her, as she ended up losing her daughter and granddaughter on the same day. She says that now she wanted to be together with her granddaughter and that all that mattered to her was this. The man then says that he knew the consequences of his actions, but that now his wife was very sad that she had to let their daughter go. He then tells his wife that they should leave, but his wife leaves alone very sad. He then goes to his wife and tells her that he did it so she could be happy. He said that all he was thinking about was her well-being, but that he ended up ruining it and apologizes for it. She then says that her husband had let her daughter go once and that now he was doing it again. She said that because of this, she could never forgive her husband. He then says that he knew he had wronged his wife and that he was trying to get everything sorted out, but that he was just trying to make his wife happy. She then asked her husband what he thought they should do now, since everything that had happened made her very sad. He then said that they could try to make another child, but she is furious when she hears that. She says it wasn't easy to replace a son and that he must have been thinking it was like changing clothes, but that wasn't how it worked. He then apologizes for what he had said and says that he just didn't want to go to jail. She then says that, unfortunately, she had lost her daughter 2 times and that now she didn't know what else to do. He says that, unfortunately, he didn't know what to do either, but that they should let the girl go with her grandmother, as that was the right thing to do. He says that time would help them get through it and hugs his wife. They then go back into the living room and tell the woman that they had made a decision and that they were going to let the girl go back to her grandmother. The man says that unfortunately it would be very difficult for them and that he didn't want to do that, but that they should let the girl go with her grandmother, because as much as it is painful for them, he is sure that it would be even more painful for the woman to be without her granddaughter. The woman then tells them that she had made a very difficult decision. She says that she was going to let the girl stay with her parents and that they were her parents. She said she wouldn't want the girl to break up of those who took such good care of her for so long and that she would just stand at a distance, taking care of her. She says that she tried to be a mother to her granddaughter, but that she knew that it was really hard and that she hoped that they could continue to do the good work they were doing, but that she had one condition. She said she wanted to be a part of the girl's daughter's life and that she wanted to be there whenever possible. The man is very happy about it and says that he would be very happy if the woman was part of theirs, since she was the grandmother of his daughter. He said he knew it would be a very good thing for his daughter. The woman says that sometimes bad things happen, but that these bad things can turn into good things, and then she thanks the nurse for telling him the truth. The nurse says that all she had done was try to make them happy. She says she didn't want to let the woman be alone, so the wife wouldn't be alone either.